Hi, and welcome to today's presentation on corporate social responsibility. I'm George Levy, and I'm the Chief Curriculum Designer for Block CDU. Today's presentation is brought to you by University Canada West in partnership with Block CDU. We have a lot of very valuable information to cover on the topic of corporate social responsibility, one of the most impactful and most in-demand skill sets out there. This is a very powerful presentation, which I believe you will find very valuable. As well, you will learn ways in which you can participate in all of the exciting developments going on in corporate social responsibility. So I'm going to turn off my camera now to give you the absolute best streaming, and I want to provide for you the best quality content in this presentation. This material will be all focusing on corporate social responsibility. We'll talk about the importance of corporate social responsibility, what it is, as well as options you can take to actually participate in corporate social responsibility if this is an area that you're interested in. So let's begin by talking about what corporate social responsibility is by delving into a definition of corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, as presented in our courses, is everything a company does to create public value, including giving, sustainability practices, employee volunteering, ethical governance, and responsible supply chain management. This includes many areas. Some of these areas include public value, which means going beyond the interests of the company, and includes interests of community and stakeholders beyond the immediate reach of the company. It also includes giving, it includes volunteering, it includes sustainability, ethical governance, responsible supply chain management. There's many areas that are involved in corporate social responsibility. Now, let's talk about specifically why is corporate social responsibility so important. And in this course, we will address three broad parameters. The first one is environment. We will talk then about society, and we will then talk about business. So let's start describing those three areas so you know exactly what we mean by them. When it comes about the environment, one of the largest drivers of CSR is greater public awareness that the natural environment is actually at a tipping point. That is, we only have one environment, and if we don't take care of it, it will be gone. Our intention with the course is not to preach about social and environmental issues. However, it's really important to provide insights on the scale of these issues and to illustrate why so many feel compelled to take action. There are some very important statistics that we would like to talk about when it comes to CSR. Let's talk first about pollution. There are 5 key types of pollution that affect our environment. There's air, water, soil, noise, and radiation. In fact, some 18 billion pounds of plastic waste flow into the oceans every year from coastal regions. To put it into perspective, that's the equivalent of 5 grocery bags of plastic trash sitting on every foot of coastline around the world. Now, let's talk about deforestation. There's an estimated 18 million acres of forest, which is roughly the size of the country of Panama, which are lost every year, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. The loss of trees and other vegetation can cause climate change, desertification, soil erosion, fewer crops, and flooding. In fact, this is a massive crisis, and forests are clearly not just a nice to have. Deforestation has left the planet with an estimated 15% of the original forest cover, and it will take concerted reforestation efforts to reverse this. Let's talk also about climate change. Climate change is accelerating. In fact, global temperature, Arctic ice minimum, is decreasing by 12.8% per decade, and ice sheets have been reduced by 413 billion tons per year. These are massive crisis points that need to be addressed, which we'll be discussing in the corporate social responsibility course. So let's talk about society. When we talk about society, one of the other reasons that companies are feeling compelled to create public value is because of increasing awareness about the scale of social inequalities. You see, consumers are beginning to seek out companies which take a more proactive approach to improving the communities in which they operate. Now, when we really look at some of these areas of importance, this is not a comprehensive list, but let's go into some of the key items. 1/4 of all humans live without electricity. That's approximately 1.6 billion people. Corruption, bribery, theft, and tax evasion currently cost developing countries $1.26 trillion per year. 50.2 million Americans live in households with insecure food availability. That number is far higher in developing countries, but indicates that food access is not even a guarantee in developed nations. 1 out of 8 children across the globe is unable to attend a school. These are massive issues. But let's talk now about why CSR is also important in business by addressing exactly how business works into this. Some of the areas that the business can gain the most from by investing in sustainability is talent recruitment. When it comes to talent recruitment, a recent study by the Stanford School of Business found that 97% of the MBA graduates from 11 of North American and Europe's top business schools were willing to forego financial benefits to work for an organization with a better reputation for corporate social responsibility and ethics. It's a big issue, and people are willing to trade financial compensation to make the world a better place. Let's talk also about employee retention. An organization's CSR initiatives can positively affect employee job satisfaction and retention. An effective CSR initiative enriches the community and it contributes to improving the company's culture. It boosts the staff engagement and helps retain the best people in that organization. You also gain and improve customer loyalty. A study published by the research think tank Better Business Journey in 2018 found that 88% of consumers were more likely to buy from a company that engages in activities to improve society. Again, there will be many, many other studies, but these are just some. And let's go straight into increased revenue. Companies that fully integrate sustainability practices into their operations and into their marketing strategies are able to increase their sales and prices. A good example of this is Beyond Meat, which promotes food products that consume 90% less water and produce less than half the emissions of traditional meat products. Beyond Meat has managed to capture a non-vegetarian market with a vegetarian product, and the result is that they had the most successful IPO, or initial public offering, of 2019. Now, let's work in the areas of mitigated risk. Major North American and European banks now prioritize the review of the sustainability ratings of their clients. This helps them assess litigation risks and corporate reputation before providing financing. The result of this is a strong CSR framework, which is resulting in an overwhelming reduction in the borrowing cost for banks and the cost of insurance. By mitigating these risks, this is a very positive impact. Just to put things in context, here is Morgan Stanley Capital International, and it's just an example of an index provider who accounts how world investors are incorporating environmental social governance, or ESG, risks that are not identified or picked up by conventional financial analysis, but can impact their financial performance. Now, Morgan Stanley Capital International recognizes that the increased operational cost from poor ESG, or environmental social governance, management, or exposure from litigation is a significant risk to a company's bottom line. So they focus the majority of their efforts on ESG risk analysis. It's a massive, massive undertaking. Now, key things we need to see here is that MSCI doesn't hammer companies for all of their data, nor do they just ask for opinions on their data. Instead, they collect data from thousands of sources and look into controversies that may indicate performance failures. These are all key areas, and you can see there's a very, very, very well-established framework of what determines a leader, what determines an average, and what determines a laggard. In fact, what you see here is MSCI's cumulative index performance over the last 10 years. And as you can see, there has been a growth of over 200% throughout that time period, a very big impact on the bottom line. When we see here, what we see is 17 of the initiatives that companies are taking to address corporate social responsibility. This is a quick slide featuring the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These are all established goals. So when we put everything into context, what you see here is that this graph shows the expansion of signatories and assets under management for the United Nations Principles for Responsible Investment. These are investments that are done for sustainability and responsible investing. The principles were launched in April 2006 at the New York Stock Exchange. And what they said is that they need to develop an economically efficient, sustainable global financial system, which needs to be a necessity for long-term value creation. Such a system is going to reward long-term responsible investment and benefit the environment and society as a whole, as the number of signatories has grown from 100 to over 2,300 at the time of this chart. That path keeps growing. Now, let's talk about some of the opportunities that you can have if you want to participate in corporate sustainable initiatives. And let's talk about the offering presented by University Canada West. The Corporate Social Responsibility Short Course from University Canada West is a 3-module program. If you're interested in learning more, there's a link on this page that will take you directly to more information. But let's cover briefly what the 3-module program consists of. This program is fully online and self-paced. What that means is that you can consume and learn at your own pace. You determine the rate. The duration is 3 modules for a total of 42 hours, and it's available fully on demand. When you have time to take it, you can fit it in your schedule. Students have 16 weeks to complete the course at their own pace, so you have plenty of time to be able to complete it and actually receive your completion certificate for the Corporate Social Responsibility Short Course. This 3-module, 42-hour program at University of Canada West focuses on the exciting new world of corporate social responsibility. And when you complete it, you also qualify to take the Foundational Technologies Institute exam, which is also included in the price. This is additional credentialing, which you gain from taking this course. Let's go down into the individual modules of this course. Module 1 is titled CSR Foundations, and it helps you understand what corporate social responsibility represents and why profit with purpose is increasingly necessary. It's not just about making money, it's making money with a positive impact. In the process, you will explore social, environmental, and economic drivers behind the recent surge in corporate citizenship. You'll review global trends and case studies on the most innovative applications of environmental, social, and governance initiatives. And you'll learn the terminology and key performance indicators and definitions used in the field. It's a very, very strong foundation which will set you into the corporate social responsibility space. From there, you will move on to the sustainable investing module. That's module 2. In module 2, you'll learn the differences between major international stock markets and how they track corporate sustainability. You'll discover why sustainability reporting is a critical consideration for any future-facing company. You'll also explore corporate social responsibility metrics and rating methodology used by Dow Jones and Morgan Stanley, and you'll learn how to benchmark corporate performance and get companies included in the portfolio of high-performing sustainability index. From there, you will move on to Module 3. Module 3 is on strategy setting and brand activism. There's 2 parts to this one specific module. In part 1, you will learn how to set an organization's goals, including mission statements, vision statement, and priorities. You'll also decide where to focus sustainability efforts based on an assessment of core competencies and customer considerations. You'll decide the winning strategy for an organization, what gives the business a competitive advantage, and you'll learn how to measure progress towards goals, as well as how to report accurately to stakeholders and shareholders. It's a very, very effective hands-on approach for you to understand how to set strategy and brand activism. From there, part 2 will teach you how to manage brand activism in a way that will improve brand revenue, brand recognition, and customer loyalty. Not only increase and improve the bottom line, but also how the company is perceived. You'll review the basic components of any good marketing strategy and learn the management of corporate statements and how it can catapult or collapse a company. You will also review case studies on the most creative brand management practices in CSR. All of this will be brought to you by the instructor, Cameron Jones. Cameron Jones has worked previously on climate change and community impact initiatives for a host of private, public, and nonprofit organizations. He's co-authored books and multiple papers on clean technology, capacity building, and carbon mitigation, and is the recipient of multiple awards, including the Premier's Public Service Award for his role overseeing the largest corporate transformation in the history of the Alberta Public Service. He's an active member of Toronto's clean technology community and recently helped launch the first drone reforestation company in Canada. He's been seen on many, many public outings, and these are just some of the media outlets where he's been featured. In the course, you will receive a foundational understanding what CSR is. You'll learn the scale and the scope of CSR in Canada and abroad, as well as how to learn, measure, evaluate, and report on organizations' economic, environmental, and social impact. You'll also learn to design and implement and manage your own CSR portfolio. and you will learn how to improve corporate image through targeted marketing and brand activism. This is a comprehensive course, and it's available for you in a short course format. For you to be able to learn more about it, I've provided for you a link where you can find out exactly how you can learn more about this course, as well as an email address where you can learn more. As I explained, this is a fully online, self-paced course, which consists of 3 modules and is 42 hours in length. This program will provide you a very, very, very strong view into the new world of corporate social responsibility, and you will also qualify to take the Foundational Technologies exam to give you additional credentialing. I appreciate very much the opportunity to be able to share this information with you, and I invite you to visit the link on this page to learn more about the Corporate Social Responsibility short course. I'm George Levy, and thank you very much for participating in this webinar.